So Chennedy Carter is a player for nobody right now. Absolutely nobody. She is not playing basketball, and like, we've now got a situation where we've got one of the 15 best players in the world just not in the league.
Chennedy Carter just experienced one of the harshest moves in professional sports. The Chicago Sky didn't offer her a farewell, a warning, or even a standard exit statement. Instead, they simply moved on and signed her replacement, almost as if she was never on the roster to begin with. Was this a strategic front office decision, or a clear message that Carter had overstayed her welcome?
The Chicago Sky finally replaced Chennedy Carter with Ariel Atkins, and I am using this as my opportunity to extend an olive branch to the Chennedy Carter brigade. The Ken folk, I believe you guys call yourself. I am taking this as an opportunity to reach out my hand and say greeting.
Just got hit with a reality check hotter than a mid-July afternoon in Chicago, and honestly, it was long overdue. After spending the season making headlines for all the wrong reasons, cheap shots, unnecessary side-eye, and going out of her way to be Caitlin Clark's on-court antagonist, she now finds herself on the sidelines. And Chicago didn't just show her the door, they slammed it shut and locked it behind her.
Atkins is a good guard. She's a solid player. But they had Chennedy Carter that they chose to not re-sign, who was one of the most explosive shooting guards in the league. I put her around 2 or 3. I mean, I'm right now playing with Caitlin Clark. I give Kelsey Mitchell the edge. Right now, I think Chennedy Carter is a better shooting guard than, say, Sabrina Ionescu, Kelsey Plum. So, I mean, she's right up there.
Atkins, a well-respected high IQ player who knows how to contribute without unnecessary drama. While Carter is left questioning her WNBA future, the Sky have already moved on, wasting no time in securing a player who actually adds value to the team. As for the fans, they're split. Some are celebrating like Chicago just won a championship, while Carter's loyal supporters are calling foul, acting like this is the biggest injustice since WNBA refs started ignoring blatant fouls on Caitlin Clark.
Do you have any regrets on how it happened and everything that's happened since then?
I don't have any regrets with anything. I'm going to compete and play 100% hard no matter who it is, like I said, or who we're playing. No, I don't have any regrets.
Chicago made their stance crystal clear. They didn't just quietly part ways with Carter, they sent a loud and unmistakable message. By bringing in a seasoned player before Carter even had a chance to fight for her spot, the Sky left no room for interpretation. That's as direct as it gets.
It's a mad one for me, because I'm like, this is, if this was a year ago, fair enough. But like, the Sky were willing to take her in. And look, I get it, maybe she wasn't the greatest in the locker room, but she was really good at basketball.
Surprised, Carter spent the season embracing the role of the villain instead of focusing on making her team better. The unnecessary antics, the lack of professionalism, it all finally caught up to her. Sure, some fans loved the drama, but WNBA franchises aren't casting for a reality show. They're trying to win basketball games.
Glance, the Chicago Sky trading the number 3 pick in the draft to the Mystics for Ariel Atkins could feel like a little bit of a desperate move, right? Chicago desperate to compete right now with Angel Reese after her rookie season. Of course, Camila Cardoso's rookie season as well. So I get that. And it's a nice rebuilding move by the Mystics.
Atkins steps into Chicago with zero baggage and all the right intangibles. She's the kind of player who elevates a team without stirring up controversy. She plays hard, she plays smart, and imagine this, she actually respects the game. That alone makes her an instant upgrade, and while Carter's die-hard fans are crying foul, the reality is simple. If you can't be a team player, you won't have a team for long. The Sky saw an opportunity to strengthen their roster and eliminate unnecessary distractions, and they took it. No hard feelings. It's just business in
year due to Carter's behavior, which apparently went unchecked by former coach Teresa Weatherspoon. There was concern within the team regarding how re-signing Carter would impact the Sky's chances of landing other free agents. And likely this was a joint decision that was made between the GM and the new head coach, Tyler Martin.
The question is, what's next for Chennedy Carter? Because let's be honest, there isn't exactly a long line of WNBA teams knocking on her door. She may technically be a free agent, but that doesn't mean much if no one's willing to take a chance on her. After all the controversy she stirred up last season, franchises might not want to deal with the baggage that comes with signing her. This isn't just about talent. Carter can hoop, and that's never been in doubt. But being a professional athlete is about more than just skill. It's about attitude, discipline, and understanding that basketball is a team sport, not a one-woman show. Right now, she's looking more like the player everyone avoids picking in a pickup game. And unless she does some serious damage control, this could be the abrupt end of her WNBA career.
What little girl wants to grow up and play in a league where you're targeted like that? How do you sit here and profess and demand that everyone take women's sports seriously when you can't even take it seriously enough to not act like a junior high queen on the court? It's stupid. That's so dumb. It looks like a soap opera.
Chicago isn't dwelling on the past. They've moved on. With Ariel Atkins in place and a renewed focus on winning, the Sky have turned the page. Carter, on the other hand, is left wondering where it all went wrong. Spoiler alert, it wasn't just one thing, it was an entire season's worth of poor decisions. She didn't just lose her roster spot, she turned herself into an untouchable free agent, with no teams willing to take a gamble on her. And can anyone really blame them? After spending the season trying to turn Caitlin Clark into her personal punching bag, both literally and figuratively, Carter now faces an off-season filled with uncertainty. Instead of preparing for the 2025 WNBA season, she's staring at an empty schedule. And to think, this all could have played out so differently.
That's all I see. They try so long to get respect for women's basketball, and then they treat it like a junior high school girl's locker room. Junior high school girl antics on the court.
Carter had focused on her actual game. Instead of trying to make a statement at Clark's expense, she wouldn't be in this mess. But instead, she fully embraced the villain role, taking cheap shots, refusing to show respect, and acting like Clark was just another overhyped rookie. Now, instead of guarding Clark on the court, she'll be watching from home, remote in one, hand phone in the other, scrolling through WNBA highlights that no longer feature her.
That's what Caitlin Clark has done. Caitlin Clark has changed the industry. She is bigger than the WNBA. There is not a player in the NBA right now who could come in and be bigger than the NBA. For what it's worth, LeBron James at 40 is not bigger than the NBA. When LeBron James retires, we won't blink. I'm being real. People will not blink. They'll keep watching.
Saddest part, this downfall was entirely avoidable. Rivalries are a natural part of sports, but the great ones always knew how to walk the line between competitive and self-destructive. Carter, however, went too far. She wasn't just aggressive. During games, she carried that same reckless energy into interviews, social media, and every public interaction. And now, with no team willing to give her another shot, she's learning a brutal lesson about what happens when you prioritize pettiness over professionalism.
Made to the games, even just when we were trying to make the playoffs. It was a hard fight. Y'all know I went down. I had a foot injury, which cost a lot of games at the end of the season. We ended up losing to Washington. I didn't play. We lost to Indiana. I didn't play that game. I missed a couple of games to where, maybe if we had our whole lineup, we could have had a better outcome. But as far as that, there's a lot of just narratives being spent. And from my standpoint, I had a great time, and this was one of the best seasons that I ever had in my career. And I'm not going to allow anybody to downplay it like it went bad, because it didn't go bad. It was the best season that I've had in my life, shooting wise, playing wise, living wise. It was a great experience for me personally.
Irony, Caitlin Clark, the same player Carter spent the season trying to belittle and humiliate, is thriving. Not only is she firmly established as the WNBA's biggest star, but she's also breaking records, securing major endorsements, and preparing for what could be an MVP caliber season. Meanwhile, as Carter sits in silence waiting for a phone call that isn't coming, Clark is gearing up to take her game to even greater heights.
Such an incredible moment on a global scale for our game, for our players.
It's like the fans are absolutely incredible. It's the same when we go on the road. Like there's so many people that are showing up in fever gear. It's really affecting, teams all across our league, which is a really great thing. And, really, I think we're just scratching the surface.
Now extremely limited. With no WNBA interest, she's left with two choices: take her talents overseas or step away from the game altogether. And let's be real, once a player leaves the WNBA, there's no guarantee they'll ever return. Front offices have long memories, and Carter's reputation isn't exactly screaming second chance. This isn't just a minor career setback. It's one of the biggest self-inflicted collapses in recent memory. She had the skill, she had the opportunity, and she let it all slip away because she was too focused on tearing someone else down instead of building herself up. And now the league has spoken loud and clear. There's no room for that nonsense. While Caitlin Clark is out there dropping dimes and making history, Carter will be stuck watching, reflecting, and hopefully learning the hard truth. Respect matters. Talent alone can open doors, but character is what keeps them open. And unfortunately for Carter, she may have slammed hers shut for good.
I knew then her future was not going to be very bright, bruh. Now, a lot of people was kind of surprised by this. I'm not, because I know, you know what I'm saying? What she did to Caitlin Clark was completely unnecessary. And I'm here to tell you guys, she's living with that decision today because she is without a job.
Sky fans are already acting like the championship parade is scheduled, confetti planned, and banners ready to be raised. And with Angel Reese now in the mix, their hype is through the roof. They're talking like they just built a super team overnight. But let's slow down for a second. Sure, the Sky might be improving, but they've got a massive roadblock in their path, the Indiana fever. And you know what that means. Caitlin Clark is coming. The first game of the season is already locked in, and Clark is about to put on a show. Chicago can add as many new faces as they want, but none of them bring the game-changing abilities that Clark does. That three-point shot, still lethal. That court vision, still unmatched. That ability to make defenders look like they're playing in slow motion, though still there.
Are taking this young, talented core that they have, with Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark, and they're adding veteran players that Stephanie White has already worked.
Ignore the obvious. The Clark-Reese rivalry is back, and the basketball gods made sure we get plenty of it. 5 matchups this season, to be exact. Their college and rookie year battles were already must-watch TV, but now the stakes are even higher. More talent, more pressure, and more eyes on the WNBA than ever before.